Square Enix is looking to depart from its old ways with a pretty sizable shakeup to their game release model. Let's get into all that up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. The gaming industry is in a bit of a weird spot when it comes to its overall health. And we've seen multiple stories from practically everyone at this point that they had to change their old business strategies to help alleviate some offsetting costs. But now Square Enix is the latest to join in on this ordeal, where they did announce some disappointing results through their financials. And upon seeing those numbers, it kind of forced them to pivot to a rather outside-of-the-box strategy for releasing their games moving forward. Square has always been walled off to companies like PlayStation for so long, and sure, releasing some of their smaller IPs to the PlayStation platform exclusively would work. But when it comes to their cash cow being Final Fantasy, however many of those games exist, I always kinda wondered why they just kept it to one console. The last 3 Final Fantasy games have been console exclusive to PlayStation, and with every release, it became more and more clear this move isn't really helping Square, rather it's hurting them. Now, I must admit, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan out there, and that's mainly because I haven't played a majority of them, so if that changes your outlook on this video, I completely understand. But I've been doing this YouTube thing for quite some time. I'm doing some work over on Game Sandwich. That's one thing I didn't plug yet on this channel. Yeah, because of you guys, I work for a video game news website, so I'm doing all their YouTube videos. Go check them out. But the point to all that rant, sorry, this is going off the rails already. I've been doing this for quite some time, I've seen the industry change, and I kinda know where this is all going. This is an IP that is known the world over, and it's very popular in the gaming space. And I quite honestly think it doesn't need that quick buck when it comes to this kind of deal. Sure, that paycheck that PlayStation is forking over is probably a hefty one at that. But that question suddenly changes, would you want that one-time quick cash out, and that's all to a single platform? Or would you like to release your game all over and make up all those costs for years to come? Now, if you released Final Fantasy on the PC, Xbox, and Nintendo platforms, you'd already have an established fan base for those systems. Especially when it comes time for the next monumental Final Fantasy game, you got plenty of people who want to buy in. Now, let's look at the big picture here. Since the release of Final Fantasy 15, each mainline entry following has sold less and less, and that's just a fact. No matter how you go about this, no matter the IP, no matter the franchise, console maker, whatever have you, that's not good. And this hasn't even begun to factor in expectations consumers now have for big AAA games, and that's regardless of the IP, which again, that's only gonna go up. I won't bore you with this whole talk because we've talked about this before. I probably sound like a broken record, but studios expect to invest a lot of money into a game in hopes to recoup that cost, all at the same time while making a profit. And that isn't what we've been seeing with Final Fantasy. But Square Enix is now under new leadership, and they're looking to right the course of this ship, especially before it's too late. The leaders at the top believe that exclusive strategy they had in place with PlayStation was severely limiting them in many ways. And that's their words, not mine. So in turn, they just announced a new aggressive multi-platform approach for all of their big games moving forward. And this is all in an effort to, quote, diversify earnings opportunities by strengthening consumer contact points. Shift to a multi-platform strategy for HD titles. The group will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs, especially in regards to major franchises and AAA titles, including catalog titles. It will build an environment where more consumers can enjoy our titles. It will also devise a platform strategy for SD titles that includes not only iOS and Android, but also the possibility for PC launches. Now, with all that being said, I think the writing on the wall has been there for quite some time. And I look back to last year when Phil Spencer took the stage with Square, and they formed this little partnership with the promise of more games coming to Xbox when possible. No names were named there as far as titles go, but by this little excerpt, that kinda sort of alludes to yes, this includes Final Fantasy. Now, I could also be led to believe 16 and the 7 remakes could possibly be heading to other platforms in the near future. But at the same time, that can take a long time to happen. And I think this is a more tantalizing prospect for future installments for Final Fantasy, mainly because I could see them releasing across the board at the same time too. Nintendo, in my eyes, is the real winner to all this, and I don't think any of the games are coming to the current Switch, because let's face it, if the Switch now tried to boot up Final Fantasy, that console will most likely explode. But a new console is now on the horizon for Nintendo. And what a way to capitalize on the massive popularity Nintendo consoles have in Japan than to release these games on the Switch too. Long story short though, this is a move that has been a long time coming for Square Enix, and it's nice to see companies finally realize they've been messing up and trying to correct course as quick as possible. But with all that being said, I'm going to pass this question off to you guys. What do you guys think of this new multi-platform strategy for Square Enix? Will it help them? Will it hurt them? And does this dilute Final Fantasy for you guys? But that about does it here. I've been Kalo. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.